Meet the superusers behind IMDB, the internet's favorite movie site. By the time Les Adams arrived in Eastland, Texas, in the 1960s, he was about 50 years late for the town's oil boom. But Adams came searching for another kind of treasure. He had received a tip from his former boss at a bowling alley, a politician named Preston Smith, that a printing company in Eastland was changing up its business. Victor Cornelius' company became one of the largest menu printing outfits in the country. Preston Smith became the 40th governor of Texas. But Les Adams would become a leader in something arguably even grander and farther-reaching. For the next 3 decades, Adams spent his spare time expanding his collection and his expertise on film, particularly cinema from the 1930s to the 1960s. Then in 1999, Adams learned about a place on the still new World Wide Web that could hold all that knowledge. Adams, now 88, has since written almost 7,000 plot summaries for films listed on the Internet Movie Database, IMDB. In total, he's contributed more than 890,000 pieces of information about film and TV, a chunk of which came straight from the files he hauled from Eastland. Yet Adams' extensive additions to the database make him only the 41st most prolific contributor, as of early 2023. Someone else has written over 35,000 plot summaries. Another is credited, somewhat controversially, with a staggering total of 22 million items. Although there are over 83 million registered users of IMDb in the world, only a small fraction of those ever add information to it. In an era when many have become pessimistic about the state of the internet, Wikipedia is often held up as a rare miracle of collaborative, crowdsourced knowledge gathering for the public good, a lonely holdout for the early web's utopian ideals. But IMDb has been doing much the same for 5 years longer than Wikipedia. Debating the relative hotness of celebrities is an enduring adolescent pastime, and sometimes the kernel of a 30-year-old web giant. That may not sound like such an audacious mission today, but this was 2 years before Google officially launched with its quest to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful, and 5 years before Wikipedia. But after his initial disappointment, he found a new purpose for all that work. For over 2 years, Brumberg would come home from his day job with the County of Los Angeles and put in another 5 hours writing and submitting mini bios to IMDb, although not one for himself. Brumberg's obsession has made him the 3rd most prolific IMDb biographer of all time, with over 1,200 bios, prose pieces covering a subject's life and career that sometimes approach 1,000 words. As of December 2022, IMDb contained pages for over 625,000 movies and over 230,000 TV series. The site now also includes reference information on podcasts, music videos, and video games, plus trailers, original content, showtimes, and watch lists. Anyone who opens an IMDb account can submit additions and edits to the site. But not all submissions are equal. The site is governed by a contributor's charter, as well as 109 instructional guides, from how to list countries, origin of financing, not location of filming, to whether wigs are part of the costume department. They're not. A typical staff announcement explains that the site is now able to appropriately categorize podcast series submissions after a successful beta test with contributors. Contributors have varied tastes and areas of expertise, ranging from punctuation to Indian soap operas, and it is those interests, more than any company plan, that dictate how the data on IMDb expands and changes each year. Dibyayan Chakravorty, a 31-year-old engineer in Kolkata, India, began adding to IMDb when he saw how little Indian content had detailed information. To get information on the lesser knowns, Warziniak is enmeshed in niche online communities and Facebook groups for film and TV, like one for 1980s extras, where he can contact actors and confirm details. You can ask ChatGPT to write a plot summary of an imaginary television show, but if you ask it to summarize Fleischman is in Trouble, it'll tell you that's only a book. And as long as IMDb super contributors want to make the database as exhaustive as possible, the ceaseless production of new movies, TV shows, and podcasts means their work will never actually be complete.